I didn't lose her because she cheated. I didn't lose her because we fell out of love. I lost her because I convinced myself she wasn't enough. And by the time I realized the truth, she was already gone. I've been in therapy for about 1.5 years now. And if you asked me back then why I started, I probably would have given you a vague answer. Just working on myself. Trying to grow. But the truth, I started therapy because, for the first time in my life, I couldn't run from what I had done. It all started after my breakup. 3 years. 3 years with someone who, and I don't say this lightly, loved me in a way I don't think I'll ever experience again. She wasn't just a good girlfriend. She was the kind of person people write about. The kind of person you don't realize is rare until you lose them. She had this presence. Not loud, not attention-seeking, but calm, warm, grounding. The kind of energy that made chaos feel manageable. And yeah, she was beautiful. The kind of beautiful where strangers would stop her just to say it out loud. I used to see it happen all the time. Fizz. On the street. Even in random stores. Hey, sorry, but you're really beautiful. And she'd smile politely, say thank you, and then come right back to me like I was the only person that mattered. Back then, I took that for granted. But her looks weren't even the best thing about her. It was the way she loved. I used to struggle a lot mentally. Stress, overthinking, frustration with life. And when I spiraled, she stayed. Not just physically, emotionally. I remember nights where I'd just sit there, staring at the floor, lost in my own thoughts. And she'd sit next to me for hours, talking softly, listening, asking questions, trying to understand me. Even when I didn't understand myself. Talk to me, she'd say. And the way she said it felt safe. Like no matter how messed up my thoughts were, she wouldn't judge me. She celebrated everything I did. Even the smallest things. I'd tell her about some random achievement, something insignificant. And her eyes would light up like I had just changed the world. I'm so proud of you, she'd say. And she meant it. Every single. Everything started changing when we moved in together. First it felt like progress. Like we were leveling up. New apartment. Shared space. Real life together. But slowly, something shifted. And it wasn't her. It was me. Started small. Little comments. Little corrections. Little criticisms. You always do it like this. Why can't you just think ahead? That doesn't even make sense. At the time I thought I was helping. Improving things. Fixing problems. But in reality, I was slowly tearing her down. The worst part is, I didn't think I was wrong. Not even a little. In my head I had created this version of reality where, I was the logical one. I was the mature one. I was the one carrying the relationship. And she became the problem. Immature. Emotional. Difficult. At least, that's what I told myself. Because accepting the truth would have meant admitting something I wasn't ready to face. That I was insecure. That I needed control. That I was projecting my own frustrations onto her. Comments became daily. Then constant. Then normal. I stopped noticing the damage. But she didn't. I could see it in her reactions. The way she'd pause before responding. The way her smile didn't last as long. The way her voice got softer. Like she was choosing her words carefully. Trying not to upset me. There were nights I'd raise my voice. Not just a little. Enough to fill the room. Enough to make silence feel heavy afterward. And instead of shouting back, she'd just look at me. Slightly watery. Not angry. Not defensive. I'm trying, she'd say quietly. And I swear, that made me more frustrated. 'Cause deep down, I knew she was. That's the question that haunts me the most. Why did she stay? Through all of it. Through the criticism. The sarcasm. The emotional distance. Even the worst moments. Moments I wish I could erase. There was one time. I told her I hated her. I didn't mean it. But I said it. And I remember the exact second it landed. Her face changed. Not dramatically, just slightly, like something inside her cracked. And still, she stayed. Still tried to fix things. Still loved me. Eventually, life pulled us into long distance. Different cities. Different path. But we had a plan. A clear timeline for when it would end. It wasn't supposed to break us. It was just temporary. But I used it as an excuse. This isn't working, I told her one day. Cold. Like I had already made the decision. She didn't beg. She didn't fight. She didn't try to convince me to stay. And somehow, that hurt more than anything. She just looked at me. With this quiet understanding. Like she was tired. Like she had already given everything she could. Okay, she said softly. And just like that, 3 years were over. I walked away thinking I had made the right choice. That I had freed myself from something that wasn't working. That I deserved better. But what I didn't realize was that the moment I walked away from her, I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. 'Cause what happened next is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. The day we broke up, I didn't cry. I didn't feel empty. I didn't even hesitate. If anything, felt relieved. Like I had just escaped something heavy. Something complicated. Something that was holding me back. At least, that's what I told myself. In my head, the story was simple. She wasn't right for me. We were too different. I deserve someone better. I repeated those lines so many times. They started to feel like truth. And the worst part, I believed them. Completely. I moved on fast. Too fast. Within weeks, I was already talking to someone new. Then another. Conversations. Late night texting. Distractions. That's all they were. But I didn't see it like that. I told myself I was healing. That I was exploring. That this was normal. On the outside everything looked fine. I was social. Busy. Surrounded by new faces. But something felt off. Every conversation felt surface level. Every connection felt temporary. Like I was constantly reaching for something that wasn't there. And then it started. Small at first. I noticed things. The way someone laughed wasn't as warm as hers. The way someone listened felt distracted, impatient. The way someone reacted to my achievements felt normal, not special, not like before. I started catching myself thinking, she would have understood this better. She would have said something different. She would have stayed. And every time that thought crossed my mind, push it away. No, I'd tell myself. That's just nostalgia. Stronger, louder, more frequent. Until it wasn't just a thought anymore. It was a pattern. A realization trying to break through. It happened about 3 months later. Random day. Nothing special. I was alone. Scrolling through my phone. Old photos. Old messages. Memories I hadn't looked at since the breakup. And then, saw her. She was smiling. Not posing. Not forcing it. Just genuinely happy. Looking at me from the other side of the camera. And something inside me shifted. It wasn't gradual. It wasn't soft. Hit me all at once. Like everything I had been avoiding. Decided to show up at the same time. My chest tightened. My breathing changed. And for the first time since the breakup, felt it. Fully. I didn't lose her because she wasn't enough. I lost her. Because I didn't know how to handle being loved like that. Because I took something pure. And made it feel like it wasn't. Because I convinced myself she was the problem. So I wouldn't have to face the fact that I was. And then came the memories. Not the good ones. The bad ones. The moments I ignored. The moments I justified. Now playing back clearly. Painfully. I saw myself criticizing her. Over something small. Her trying to explain, calmly. Me cutting her off. Dismissing her. I saw her sitting quietly. After I raised my voice. Not reacting. Not fighting back. Just absorbing it. I heard my own voice. Saying things I wish I could erase. I hate you. And this time, I couldn't lie to myself about it. She wasn't difficult. She wasn't immature. She wasn't the problem. She was patient, understanding, loving beyond reason. And I was the one who turned that love into something painful. That realization doesn't just sit in your mind. Spreads into your chest, your thoughts, your sleep, your entire existence. I couldn't escape it. Everywhere I went, followed, sleep became difficult. 'Cause silence meant thinking, and thinking meant remembering. Every detail, every word, every moment I chose ego over empathy. I picked up my phone so many times, typed her name, opened the chat, stared at it, thinking, what if I just apologize? What if I explain everything? What if it's not too late? This wasn't something a message could fix. This wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern, consistent choice, to treat someone who loved me deeply, like they weren't enough. And then it hit me. The thing that hurt the most. I didn't just lose her. I lost the version of myself that she believed in. The version she supported, encouraged, loved unconditionally. Because without her, I had to face who I really was. I thought the regret was the worst part. That realizing the truth was the punishment. But I was wrong. Because the real pain, the kind that stays with you, hadn't even started yet. I found out she had moved on. And what I saw next is something I'll never forget. After months of trying to convince myself I was fine, the truth finally landed. She had moved on. Not slowly, not quietly, not half-heartedly, completely. I first saw it by accident. A social media post. Picture. Her smile. His arm around her. And something inside me shattered. I scrolled, frozen. The photo didn't just show her happiness. It shouted at me. You're gone. I'm not waiting for you. I'm living. And in that moment, I realized something even worse than heartbreak. I wasn't just missing her. I was mourning the person I destroyed. The woman who gave me everything and asked for nothing. Every memory hit me at once. Asterisk her gentle encouragement when I felt worthless. Asterisk the way she celebrated my small victories as if they were monumental. Asterisk the nights she stayed awake listening to my insecurities. Asterisk the way she looked at me. With trust, love, and belief in me. And then I remembered the moments I ruined. Asterisk calling her names in anger. Asterisk shouting at her for things I could have handled calmly. Asterisk ignoring her feelings. Asterisk the day I coldly ended things, blaming distance instead of my own behavior. The weight of it was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. My chest ached. My stomach twisted. I realized I had been punished, not by her, not by life, but by myself. Regret isn't the kind of pain that comes once and leaves. Slow. Persistent. It's seeing her happiness and knowing I'll never be the reason for it again. It's realizing that every new relationship, every date, every fleeting moment of companionship, no one will ever compare. No one ever will. And the cruelest part, she's thriving without me, smiling without me, loving without me, while I'm trapped in the past and my own mistakes. Now here's the twist, the revenge. It wasn't something I planned. It wasn't clever or calculated. Came naturally. I'm the one living with the consequences. I'm the one haunted by what I lost. The person I hurt so deeply lives her life happily, while I live with my own guilt, my own shame. That is the kind of revenge that cuts deeper than any confrontation ever could. She taught me something, even in her absence. Love like that, pure, unconditional, relentless love, is irreplaceable. And when you destroy it, you don't get to fix it with time or new relationships. You live with it. You carry it. Every single. There are nights when I replay it all. I see myself standing in our old apartment. I hear her voice, soft but strong, asking me to try. I feel her warmth, her patience. I imagine turning back time, apologizing, hugging her, telling her she's enough, that I am enough. But time doesn't bend. People move on, and I'm left with only memories. and a heart full of lessons learned the hardest way possible. I stopped trying to contact her. I stopped trying to rationalize my behavior. Because I realized something. The ultimate revenge wasn't hers to deliver. It was mine to feel. Every regret, every flashback, every ache in my chest. She didn't hurt me. Life didn't hurt me. I did this to myself. And living with that truth is the most satisfying, brutal revenge imaginable. Every decision, every thought, every interaction, all a reminder that she was the best thing I ever had. And I let her go. I watch her now occasionally from afar, not out of obsession, not out of longing, but because she reminds me of who I could have been, who I should have been. And I carry that forward in every relationship, every choice, every day. Because losing her taught me more about love, respect, and humility than any therapy session ever could. So, here's the question I leave you with. Have you ever realized too late what you had? And lived with the knowledge that you can never get it back? If this story hit you, if it made your heart ache or think twice about someone you love, comment below. I want to know. Who in your life did you take for granted? And how did it change you forever? And of course, subscribe for more stories that hit harder than revenge ever could.